The MSVR Focus Cup is brought to you in association with MINTEX, breaking with tradition. The season so far, everything got underway at Donington Park back in April. Scott Parkin converting pole position in race 1 into a win from Gary Mitchell and Rich Davis. In race 2, Spencer Fortag won from Simon Rudd. Silverstone was next with Simon Rudd's first pole position and a win for Charlie Barr in race 1. Race 2 continued to add to the action, and it was Scott Parkin taking his second win of 2021 in very wet and tricky conditions. Combe was our third venue of the season. Another pole for Simon Rudd, and he converted it into his first win of the season. Rob Gaffney taking second position, Lewis Ryan completing the podium. Race 2 saw the second victory of the season for Scott Parkin. Round 4, Cadwell Park in Lincolnshire, a spectacular circuit, and it was a third pole on the bounce for Simon Rudd, which led to his second race win of the year. Race 2 in Lincolnshire, a win for Andrew Perry. Cheshire, the next stop on the calendar, Alton Park in July, and Simon Rudd's fourth pole position, and that led to his third win. Gary Mitchell took second position. Lewis Ryan joined the winner's circle in race 2. August and a trip to Croft, the home circuit for many drivers. And it was Simon Walton who broke Simon Rudd's run of pole positions. He also converted that into a race win ahead of Mark Proctor. Branko Kibrowski drove well to take his first win in race 2, with Lewis Ryan close behind. On to Brands Hatch, and the first day of this meeting saw Simon Rudd back on winning form in race 1. Whilst Gary Mitchell underlined his credentials with a strong victory in race 2. Well, that brings you up to speed with the season so far. We are at day 2 here at Brands Hatch for the massive festival of all things Ford. The championship table looks like this as we arrive today. Simon Rudd 42 points clear of Gary Mitchell. Scott Parkin is in third. Let's go down into the paddock with Barry.
James Harris also, it's good to see new drivers on the grid. Now, first time out last round, which was only yesterday, but how did that feel, your first race ever?
It's very good, very good. The team's very good, the championship's a very good idea. It's just very good just to be able to turn up, race and go home.
I was going to ask you what sort of encouraged you into this, but I know certainly each race weekend you've been standing on the sideline watching certainly your friend Simon there, so has that sort of encouraged you to get behind the wheel?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've followed Simon for years through karting and always his best friends. I'm always standing by his side and trying to help out where I can. And I was given an opportunity by my boss to basically race, and WD Recruitment helped me to race, and here we are today.
Now, everyone thinks they're a good driver on the road, certainly. They think they make a good racing driver. They sit there on PS4s and whatever. First race yesterday, what was it like? Sat there, and at the end of the race, was it what you thought?
I think the workload went up 70% in the race just because you're racing, and I'd never ever appreciated that. I was stressing on Friday just for testing, and yeah, it was just the workload just went through the roof. Now I appreciate it. It's a lot more difficult than I realised.
You didn't do that bad though, because you got the rookie of the race as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Luckily I had a good start, 18 to 11th. So yeah, it was very good.
In the field that we've got there is good, because especially there's a lot of competitive people here, a lot of established drivers, some newcomers as well. So you've got a great spectrum to compete with.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a lovely range of drivers. I was just very lucky and got my head down and managed to hold the 11th. Yeah, it's good.
So, one day racing out of the way. We've got a full day today in front of tens of thousands of people. So that should, well, give you a little bit more encouragement, maybe.
Yeah, a bit more encouragement. A few friends and family here. I just try and block it out when I'm on the racetrack and just try and concentrate on what I'm doing.
Personal aims for the weekend?
Another rookie trophy would be nice. That'd be good.
And have you got the bug yet?
I've always had the bug. Always. From my father, when my father used to work at Brands Hatch years ago. I mean, it's just in the blood.
So here we are, penultimate event of the season. Now let's just go back to the last round briefly. We did pretty well there, and you also got rookie of the race as well.
I did indeed, yes. We had a bit of a tough time in testing on the Friday. The car was pretty ill and she wasn't sure if she was going to go out, so we turned up race day and she was fixed, she was ready to go. Went out and just done my best in front of, it's my home race, and all my family and friends were here. I seemed to put on a show. I don't know where it came from, but I got P4 yesterday, and in the races it was I kept up with there, and we done well, so I've took that into today. A lot of confidence, more friends and family here today, and I don't know where it's come from, but I've just done a 58.6, which is amazing. So now I'm P2.
I was just going to say, because I saw you with your family around your car and so forth, it's to reinforce this, it's a great family atmosphere in the paddock anyway, and it's something you can bring them along, and it's just great to get involved with. But as well as that, your scene seems to be going the right way for you now.
It certainly is, yeah. I mean, as you know from before I started this season, qualifying was always a bit nervous and the races were nervous, but I was feeding into it, getting really better. Qualifying's always been around 13, 14th all season, but the race has got better, the craft has got better, a lot of support from the Focus Cup. They're an amazing bunch of lads, everybody helps everybody, and it's brought me on, and it kind of showed yesterday with some real good performances yesterday, and I'm over the moon. I was
going to say, I'm always interested about mindsets. I mean, basically, you've sort of fine-tuned your mindset with this racecraft. You seem more relaxed and yet quicker.
Yes, well, I think that's some of the thing. When I was first starting, I was so nervous. I was nervous getting into the car, being quick enough. I was nervous getting to the assembly area, the scrutineering, because they were all new tracks that I haven't been to before. So that was all new. But once I got qualifying out of the way and a few races, it then just become, where's the paddock? I've got to find the paddock at each race. But the nerves have calmed down a hell of a lot. And we're just being more comfortable in the car, staying in the same car. I'm feeling at one with the car. I can now start chucking it around like the big boys do and getting different lines into corners, and it's working.
Simon, here we are in front of a packed crowd here at 4 Power Live. So how did the last round go, and how's the season gone for you?
Pretty good, actually. So very pleased with my performance yesterday. It's very, very close in times. All the middle of the pack is only 10th or less of a second between each driver. Qualified in 8th yesterday, so very pleased with that, and then finished 10th in the first race. So all in all good, and then I've just qualified now in 9th position for the for the next race.
I know one of your main aims has always been that sort of benchmark of being in that top 10, so we're achieving that quite consistently now.
Yeah, much better towards the end of the season, so that's where I hope to stay, and I'm really enjoying it.
Been a great calendar this year, and now we've got the full crowd. I mean, there's a lot of energy here, isn't there?
Oh, there is, yeah. It's fantastic. The more people that we have spectating, the better it is. There's a real buzz at Brands Hatch. Fantastic.
And pretty full grid as well, to be fair, of the
very full grid. Yeah, I think this is probably the best turnout we've had this year. Makes it very exciting and very close racing in the middle.
So have you hit all the benchmarks you wanted to so far?
Yes, I'm getting there. I mean, I had a poor start to the season, but certainly second half of the season much better. So looking forward to after this round today, looking forward to Donington and the grand finale.
Toby, now I know you've done quite a bit of motorsport before, mainly caterhams I think, so what brings you to the Focus Cup?
Yeah, I hadn't raced anything this year, and I sort of fancied something different, and literally just saw what was on at Brands Hatch and thought, I could focus, so I'll give that a go.
That's the beauty of this, isn't it? The arrive and drive format. You can just come along, no prep, and just get yourself psyched up ready.
Yeah, it's perfect to just jump in the car and off we go, and the guys are great. We'll change anything you want. So it seems like a really good series. Cars are great, seem to be very equal in performance as well. So even though I'm in the arrive and drive car, it's seems competitive. So no, it's a great format.
Double-header weekend. We had the previous round, yesterday's round last week. How was that? What was your first session out there? What was it like racing compared to what you're used to?
From my point of view, my racing was awful. Couldn't work out how to get the car off the line at the start. So I had a reasonable qualifying. I was quite happy with 14th. But in both races I was last by the first corner, so I think I need to get used to the power bands off the start, so we'll see if we can do a bit better in this round, so hopefully we can improve. But I had fun last time anyway, so in making up some places to try and get back to where I started, so hopefully I can do a bit better today.
And historically, what have you done before?
So I've raced Caterhams for quite a few years in the Catering Graduate Series, so done a few of the categories there, had some good success in that. And to be honest, last 15 years only ever raced Caterham, so it was probably about time I tried something else. So.
With the roof on?
Yeah. Yeah, well, if it rains this afternoon, that'll be a new experience for me, which is, racing in the wet without getting wet.
So, Brands Hatch itself, you must have been around here a few times one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to have had a couple of wins at Brands, but I don't think we're on for that today, but know my way around reasonably well. And it's a great circuit, one I really like, and so there's a nice crowd and everything today as well.
And of course with this, we've got this equal playing field with the vehicles itself, plus this reverse grid, which makes it interesting.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't worked out the reverse grid. I just start wherever somebody points me to, but it does seem like a good format to sort of mix things up a bit. But to be honest, the racing looked very competitive throughout, actually. So I'm sure if you do more rounds, if you get closer to the front, there's a bit more differentials between the drivers and the cars. But everyone looked pretty on it today, so it's good.
Best of luck out there.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at how they line up for round 15 of the championship. Simon Rudd is on pole position. John Baker alongside then Gary Mitchell and Scott Parkin. Rob Gaffney back with us. He lines up 5th. Lewis Ryan 6th from Spencer Fortag and Simon Walton. 9th is Simon Watts from Richard Davis and Simon Ward. Branko Kiprowski completing the top dozen. Then Toby Bryant and Chris Wallace. Sean Reynolds and Callum Eason ahead of PJ Gardner, James Harris, Claire Avis and Amy Wallace completing the grid. This is what it looks like from 3rd on the grid. Gary Mitchell 2nd in the championship. He's in the red Mintex car, the inside of row 2, 1x1 staggered grid. Amy Wallace is 20th on the grid, and you can see Claire Avis immediately in front of her. We've got the green flag from the back of the grid. All looks well with this impressive lineup here at Brands Hatch.
Red lights go on.
Not keeping them waiting too long. Lights are on, out go the lights, and the race is underway, and it's the championship leader Simon Rudd that gets away well. Side by side for second, add another car into the mix on the outside line there, 3 wide for second place going into Paddock Hill Bend. Gary Mitchell on the inside, a little bit of contact on the rear end of Scott Parkin, who secures second place. Now we're going to see if John Baker can get 3rd back from Gary Mitchell. And there's contact as they go into Druids. Baker involved in that. Spencer Fortag across the track. There's cars on the grass. There's Toby Bryant's car, I think, up in the air on 2 wheels. Lewis Ryan's car, the K&N Filters car, has got big damage. He's going to get the car to safety on the exit of Druids. Fair play, Lewis. But it is down Cooper Straight for the first time. Close rank and off into the barrier. That's James Harris who goes over. There was contact on James' car. It tipped round into the barrier and goes over. That's a lot of damage on the WDE car. At the very least, that will be a safety car. Hasn't been deployed yet. This is a short lap, so it's down to the organisers to make very quick decisions. You only have 58 seconds, less than that, because the cars were, of course, the lead cars were past Cooper Straight when the incident happened. So you're talking that the race officials have around about 30 seconds to make a decision. Now Druids is clear, you'll see that. Lewis Ryan moved his car to safety, but there is still a car on Cooper Straight. There will be very heavily waved yellows there. Should be marshals in attendance as well. Let's have a look as we go across. And you can see the cars slowing up because we've not only got yellows now but red flags. And that is how quickly the race officials have to call it. Let's have a look at what happened. First of all, at Druids, contact there. Spencer Fortag, before the turn-in, I think was trying to avoid the two cars that tangled. And it all goes off on his inside. Lewis Ryan picked up a lot of damage, so Spencer went across him, as we saw before, trying to avoid what was going on in front of him. Oh dear, well, that's the car going up in the air. Toby Bryant picking up a little bit of damage as well. So here's Toby, let's have a look, see what happens to him. It was Toby goes up on two wheels. PJ Gardner escaping on the grass. Now the cars have been given the red flag. They'll go back onto the grid, as you can see, and reform for a restart here. So the other incident was on Cooper Straight, in car with Spencer Fortag. PJ Gardner just tags the rear end of James Harris, and James goes around. Here's PJ's view of it. Maybe just, you know, he wouldn't have wanted to have done that, but maybe on the gas a little bit too long and the car just turned around. We're ready for the restart though. Lights out, different weather conditions. It is raining now here at Brands Hatch. Look at John Baker. What a start by John Baker from the outside of the staggered grid. He leads into Paddock Hill Bend. He's overtaken the championship leader and heads them all, but is going sideways. Rudd takes the lead. Baker sideways. Mitchell goes in, and there's a ripple effect down the field. Bang! Oh no! In goes that Sean Reynolds hitting Mitchell. I was hoping it wasn't going to happen, but clearly Mitchell was unsighted as he came down the hill. Well, it's Simon Rudd that leads. Rob Gaffney is back with us. He's in second place. Third position is Scott Parkin. Two damaged cars at the bottom of Paddock Hill. Safety car again at the very least. I'd be surprised if that's not red flag. Those cars are stricken. Now you can see how quickly, again, the race organisers made the decision to scramble the safety car. Very frustrating for everybody, particularly Gary Mitchell and Sean Reynolds. Look at Sean's car, the Liqui Moly car, previously immaculate. Now it's going to be in need of some serious TLC. And same with Gary Mitchell. And I really feel for both of them, but Gary was race winner yesterday and looking good for second place in the championship. Looking across there at Chris Wallace. Second meeting of the season for him, and the cars continue on their safety car tours here, which eats into the race time for the runners. You can see the safety car there, rescue vehicle coming out as well. Where the cars get to the incident zone, you'll see, but there was a real ripple effect of lots of cars being involved. It was kind of in reaction, I think, to John Baker having that sideways moment, and several cars checked up, and it's a bit like the motorway queue, isn't it, where you don't see the cause of it sometimes, but the ripple effect goes back, and that is what happened when you've got a lot of very closely matched cars and drivers. And remember, these cars are all identically prepared. That kind of thing is going to happen sometimes. Surprised it doesn't happen a great deal more, but you know, thankfully it doesn't in Focus Cup. But wet conditions, we've had two starts in different conditions, and that will have thrown a little bit of a spanner in the works, and you saw how difficult it was for the cars to get through that accident zone. Wipers on the lead car of Simon Rudd, don't appear to be any on. Oh, a little bit of a wipe there from Richard Davis in fourth place, and Scott Parkin just done one as well. Rob Gaffney as well. Okay, it is still wet out there. And red flag, so the decision being taken to red flag for the second time in two starts. And you know, probably a good decision again, because it will get everybody calmed down and focused for the restart as the clearing up operation continues here. But let's just have a look and see a little bit more about what happened. So here's John Baker. Superb start from the outside. People say that the outside of the front row is pole at Brands, but not on a one-by-one staggered grid. He was starting well back. It makes a good start, and that could well be his undoing, because he had a lot of momentum coming into Paddock Hill Bend. There he goes, putting on the opposite lock. We'll try and keep the power in. Now, though you hear the bang, you don't actually see the bang, which is testament to the strength of the chassis. So that's how John Baker's moment unfolded, and how Simon Rudd managed to get back into the lead. John getting back through, weaves his way through the two stranded cars. Gary Mitchell there on the right of screen. Let's have a look at it from Gary's perspective. He's not going to be a happy man, but again, John Baker, extremely quick start. Gary Mitchell gets away well. You have to say maybe Simon Rudd not as quick off the line as he would normally be expected to do. There's the sideways moment. Rudd nips through on the inside line. Gary gets a big wallop in the back. He's actually saying a few choice words at this moment, and then some more, because insult is added to injury and he goes off. But watch this from Gary. He knows that the marshals are going to come to his aid, and they come very quickly. And the first thing he does is say, I'm okay. There might be others that need attendance. So well done, Gary Mitchell. As he came down Paddock Hill Bend, he was so focused on the road ahead. Here's the view from Sean Reynolds. This is the other car that was involved, and you can see very, very busy here. Now bear in mind that Sean Reynolds has got an awful lot of cars in front of him, and you're going to be looking, you want to look ahead, but immediately you've got to look at the cars immediately in front of you, so you won't actually see everything that's unfolding in front of him. And the Jelson car just goes to the right. He's unsighted, can't see Gary's car until it's too late, and bang, very, very sadly, he is out of the race. So the cars coming back into line. The decision has been taken to shelve this race for the moment, red flags. They're going to take a breather, regroup in the paddock, which I think is a very sensible decision. And whilst that is going on, it's going to give the drivers a chance where needed to get the cars repaired, and for us to have a word with Richard Barton from our sponsor, MINTEX.
Here now with Richard in the paddock from MINTEX. Now, MINTEX is a universally popular name in the racing world, and in fact on the road as well there. First of all, this event, what a cracking event, a great way of getting your name across to thousands of spectators.
Absolutely. I think it's a fantastic championship. From its incarnation, we wanted to be involved in it, and we were really quite honoured when we were approached to be the brake manufacturer that supplied the products on the brakes, the pads and discs to all the cars. So yeah, it's been a really good experience for us, and as a slightly different model to the other championships that are out there, in the fact that the cars are all maintained by the championship, and almost like an arrive and drive sort of scenario, which is great, but it's a great proving ground for our product too in that respect.
I was going to say, I mean, the good thing about this championship is all the cars are exactly the same spec-wise. They've obviously gone with some high-spec products, bringing yours in. It makes all your products race-proven, which is the ideal, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's it's great for the spectators to see our products on those cars, and then they can relate them to their road vehicles. And then I think we take a lot of feedback from the championships that we're involved in, on how we go forward and develop our products, into the road market. So, and also still into the race market. All that feedback is vital to us to be able to improve and and develop more, I guess, technically advanced product.
I suppose with motorsport, and then that transitions to the road, it is about product development. You can't just sit there with your products on the shelf. It's a constant feedback and, like say, data, and it does help you, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. Again, yes, it's vehicles are getting a lot faster. They're a lot heavier. Obviously we're going to have electric vehicles coming forward soon. So we've really had to adapt our offering really to suit the marketplace, and being involved with champions like this gives us invaluable data to do that. It really is a great thing to be involved with. So,
now, I know in the racing world it's an extremely well-known brand, but to any new viewers that are out there, just tell me a little bit about the range and what you do.
Well, yeah, we produce products. MINTEX is just one of our brands. Our parent company is a company called TMD Friction, and that stands for Techstar, MINTEX and Don, which are 3 brands. Techstar kind of covers our OE vehicles and sort of premium level. MINTEX is more, it kind of sits in the middle. It's more everyday cars and things like that. But we also have the MINTEX Racing brand too, which is where the racing product comes from here. And then we have Don, which is one of our commercial brands. Techstar also does commercials as well. So, we've got quite a varied product range and a lot of vehicles that people see on the road, a lot of them have our product on them. And it's just that brake pads are often forgotten about, but they're one of the major key factors and one of the major safety things along with tyres in a vehicle, so you need to look after that.
Well, great to see you, and a great event to be at as well. Thanks for your continued support, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the Focus Cup Championship, part of Ford Power Live here at Brands Hatch. A little bit of refettling to do, actually quite a lot of refettling to do on some of the cars before they take to the circuit once again. But a good opportunity to go down in the paddock and catch up with some of the drivers we've not spoken to as of yet. The first of those is Amy Wallace.
Amy, great to see you at this event. Now, you were at Brands Hatch last year. I think that was your first time out, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yeah. It was my first race in a car. Didn't really have much previous experience, so literally first experience. It was a brilliant weekend. Absolutely loved it, and that's why I'm back here again.
Now, I always say it's your local circuit. Now, some people think that's always an advantage. It isn't if you haven't driven around it much. No, exactly. So prior to the race last year that we did, I was in the car for about 20 minutes beforehand. So I literally did one session on the test day, and then it was literally a case of, do you want to come in the car? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. So I sort of signed up to the race weekend, and it went from there. And I had a great weekend, had great results, and that's why I'm back here again. Now, clearly you love your racing. I was going to ask you why or how you got involved with it, but your father Chris is involved already.
Yes, so he's got quite a long history in terms of motorsport. So he used to race in Formula Ford, which was pushing 25 years ago now. So he raced in a Swift Cup a long time ago, and he sort of left the car racing when I came on the scene, and then a few years ago decided he loved it again and sort of came back, and this is where we started. So I kind of followed in his footsteps and decided I really wanted to give it a go, and here I am.
And what's it like? I mean, right, Dad's there, but when you're on track, obviously you competed against each other. So what's it like on the track, and then what's it like in the paddock?
No, so obviously friends off track, enemies on track is what we say really. We always get, obviously father and daughter, aren't we? So we get on perfectly off track, have a little bit of a laugh and everything, but once we're on track it's helmets down, ignore everything else, and we race as if we're enemies, and if we don't know each other really, we're just, if I'm in front of him then he'll fight to get me and vice versa.
I also might be able to just come and have a go at this racing sort of off the cuff. But going back to like last year, had you done anything before?
No, so I had no previous experience in car racing, but I have been involved in motorsport sort of previously in terms of motocross bikes. So I've been racing those since I was 8 years old. So I've got that sort of biking experience, but no previous car experience.
That teaches you to read surfaces, doesn't it? If you're on bikes far more than you would cars, I suppose that's a good training.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, obviously it's a bit different from going from mud to tarmac, but it's definitely sort of helped me a lot in the sort of ideas of techniques and reading racing lines, as they say, which definitely helped me for sure. But yeah, I still have a massive love for the bikes, but I'm starting to think that cars might be the way forward.
Now, it all seems to be male-dominated, this motorsport thing, but thankfully, good representation on this grid, certainly with females, including your good self there. Yeah. So, what's it like, though? What's the inside story? What's it like in the paddock, and what's it like on track? Are they helpful or not?
Yeah, no, so in the paddock, obviously, it's a bit different being female in a male-dominated sport, especially in a male-dominated paddock as well. So, it's definitely a bit different, something to get used to start with, but no, everyone's really friendly. It's a great championship to be in. You know, it's almost like we're one big family, really. We all take care of each other, off track and on track, really. And being a female, you don't really notice it so much in a lot of ways. Obviously, everyone likes to make sure that sort of we take care of our own as well as taking care of each other, really. So, as I say, one big family, really.
And personal goals, A for this weekend, B for your motorsport career.
Okay, so personal goals really for this weekend just be sort of shaving those seconds off those lap times really. So I've improved since Friday's testing session. I've improved by 9 seconds, so I've knocked 9 seconds off my lap time, which was really impressive and I'm really pleased with. So I'm definitely starting to sort of catch back up with the pace that's currently running, which is obviously 59 seconds to a minute a lap. But yeah, no, in terms of the future, I'd definitely like to sort of look into doing a season with Focus Cup next year, do a full championship with them, see where I can go. In terms of that, hopefully get a top 15 with sort of 23 cars on the grid. It's quite a busy grid, so top 15 I'd be really happy with.
So Callum, we caught up with you last round, which was again this weekend, but first race and second race done and dusted. How did it feel? Just talk us through it.
Yeah, it was good. I got a good start. Well, better start in the second race, but I got it off the line in the first one. Kept the cars in front of me quite close, and then through the weekend I've been battling with a boost problem. So coming out of Graham Hill, I put my foot down, but there was nothing there. So everyone would come straight past me, and then through clearways, it did it again, and I dropped 6 places on the first lap, and then it just carried on from there and there and there.
Okay. What about mindset yourself? I'd imagine, because I mean, part of the WD Motorsport team there, you've got a great pedigree of mum and dad behind you. Does that mean intense debriefing and tweaking after you do these races?
Yeah. It's not been easy, I'll tell you that. It'll be straight in the motor run, watch some data, see what I can improve. Which, to be fair, I can't thank Paul and me dad enough, because they've beat me down when I had to. But all positive, it all worked. I come into the round driving the car too hard, just trying to make the car go fast without any technique. So Paul really helped me to smoothing out all of the problems, and the car's going well now. We fixed the problem.
It's a common misconception with any new drivers of any age group that it's like all about going fast all the time, full throttle, but it isn't, is it? It's about keeping a clear head, knowing where to use it.
Yeah, exactly. I could do a bit of being a bit more pedal to the metal really in the races, to get my nose up the inside of a few cars and get positions done on the start. I'm being a little bit too careful with the car really. I just need to go out there and just have it.
Probably wise though initially, isn't it? Just to sort of learn the foundations of it, and then you can sort of progress quite steadily.
Yeah, exactly. Because some of the boys here, they've been doing it all season, and maybe once or twice, maybe 1 or 2 seasons. And this is the first race, so going forwards, anything's better than last.
And race coming up soon, hopefully. Potentially a little bit wet. Does that bother you?
Not really. If you let it bother you, then you can have more than one thing in your mind, and then you're going to overthink stuff. So I'll tackle it as it comes along.
Simon, mixed weekend. Obviously, we're into the latter round. How's it been for you so far?
I've had a good weekend so far. I was a bit gutted that one was red flagged, because I thought that was a race win that we could have had. I'm just glad that everybody's okay, I guess, in terms of James being safe and things like that. So that's a positive. Weather is going to be interesting in this race today, so we'll see. But it's just going to be head down and go for it.
Potential rerun of this race. We're not sure about the second race this time, so we're going to do what we can again at the final round at Donington. And it's always been about the big picture, the championship points for you.
Yeah, I don't know if it benefits me or not. I think it probably would benefit me if there was one round less, but I don't want that to be the case. I want it to go all the way. But yeah, that's the cards that we're dealt this weekend, and we've got to just go with it. So I'm just going to go for it, see where we are for Donington, and then take that race by race.
Yeah, good sentiment there from Simon Rudd. Here's the grid. Simon on pole, John Baker scheduled alongside, then Gary Mitchell and Scott Parkin, Rob Gaffney and Lewis Wright next from Spencer Fortag and Simon Walton, Simon Watson, Richard Davis row 5 from Simon Watt, Branko Bobrovsky, Toby Bryant, Chris Wallace row 7 from Sean Reynolds, Callum Eason, PJ Gardner, James Harris, Claire Avis and Amy Wallace. Sadly, of course, we've lost Jonathan Baker from that list, Gary Mitchell and Sean Reynolds. It is one race less, as Simon pointed out, which is a shame, but great that all the drivers were okay. Clearly a lot of work to be done in the paddock, and this was a huge, very well prepared entry, so everyone hoping that we get a good clean race. I'm sure we will, as the cars make their way around on the installation lap for the restart of this. To be fair, it's absolutely normal that if you have 2 goes at a championship race start, then the organisers do tend to move things back, and that's exactly what they've done here, because it can detract from the other formula that we're racing. It was just really bad luck on the part of those drivers who are involved. Simon Watt's going through shot there, just ahead of Richard Davis. Simon qualifying 9th for this one, Richard Davis in 10th position. And we might see a record equalled here, because the drivers with the most wins in the championship historically have had 5 wins apiece, and Simon Rudd is on pole here, gunning for his 5th win in the championship as well. And if I get a chance, I'll tell you as the race unfolds who those other drivers are with 5 wins. It is early days in the championship's history to talk about records, but it's nice to keep track of those things. The lap record, incidentally, will be intact. That's with David Rowe from 2019, 57.411. I don't think we're going to get near to that in these slippery conditions today. We're probably going towards 1 minute laps, I think. So I think David Rowe's lap record is probably going to remain intact for the moment. But look at the big gap that we've got on the grid. James Harris is back with us in the 87 car. So great to see James on the grid. Red lights on. Simon Rudd's got the proverbial Christmas present early, hasn't he, with a massive space behind him and goes into the lead. In car with Spencer Fortag, who passes Rob Gaffney with Rob's traditional number 46 on the car. Rob is in third place, Spencer having a look at him. Scott Parkin goes up into second place, Gaffney defending third as best he can, but Spencer Fortag having a good run round the outside, but it's Simon Rudd leading. Nice wide line around Druids for the second place car. Chris Wallace goes wide as well. With it being wet, potentially a little bit more grip around the outside. So it's an event-free Paddock Hill Bend. It's an event-free Druids as well. Are we going to make it through Graham Hill Bend and the Cooper Straight without any problems? Yes, they do. Sometimes when you get problems, they get magnified. But the Focus Cup drivers have taken everything on board. Here's Branko having a look down the inside line. He's in the yellow car, not in shot, we have hastened to add. Claire Avis in the 71. Branko a little bit further up the order on the inside in the 87 car. That was the Jack Lee's car yesterday, but now with James Harris, the organisers, of course, making sure that they can get drivers as much time as possible, and when the cars arrive and drive, you can do that. As Ryan goes through, Lewis Ryan passes Spencer Fortag. Ryan's car was damaged in that the original first start, and has been repaired. The K&N car looking absolutely superb and very competitive here up ahead of Spencer Fortag. So mega job by the organisers getting that car on track and ship-shape ready to race. Huge lead by Simon Rudd at the moment. Scott Parkin is second. Branko Kiprowski side by side with Rob Gaffney. Rob to our right, Branko's on the inside, up into Surtees, the left-hander, and goes through this contact. Rob Gaffney with Lewis Ryan. This could go into the tyres. He's got the brakes on, he's steering into it, and fair play, scrubbed off enough speed to keep the K&N Filters car out of the barriers. Great job from him. James Harris still looking. Here's a replay from Lewis Ryan. Also contact, throws him onto the grass, uses all the lock. That was a very good recovery from Lewis Ryan. I think that's possibly his first DNF of the season, if it is going to result in a DNF. No, he's got going again, which is good news. Simon Walton making progress in the number 9 car. Simon, of course, race winner at Croft earlier on in the season. In car with Rob Gaffney, he would dearly love to get third place back. Takes a wide run here at Druids. This is all about momentum on the exit for Rob, and he's going to have the outside run down towards Graham Hill Bend, but he's giving Branko a little bit of a workout here. Rob's still outside, have to be mindful of track limits here. Again, day 2, still not getting any warnings about track limits for any of these drivers. Fair play to the lot of them, absolutely superb. Any other championships that you see coverage of, you have drivers moaning as Branko runs wide. Rob has a look up on the inside in the Dunlop car, all for third place. Scott Parkin still there in second at the head of this. In car with Branko again. Little wave as well, realises this is good close quarter racing, all very good natured. Simon Walton is in the white REIS car. I think we've mentioned before Richard Egger Insurance Services. Great to have them on board in the championship as Rob continues to work hard. Multi-champion in all sorts of disciplines, Rob Gaffney. Started off in junior rallycross, raced in the infamous Ginetta Junior Championship. Track day trophy specialist as well. Great sports car driver. Good tip-top man as well, as you could see here. Both he and his family enjoying their racing over the years. And now Kiprowski really free of the attentions of Rob Gaffney momentarily, having a go at Scott Parkin for second place. Closes up along Cooper Straight, keeping it fairly tight on the entry, and that I think is to defend from Rob Gaffney as much as anything else. But look at Rob's line here. This is a single-seater line. He was taking a nice wide run at Clearway. He's trying to get a bit of momentum. Simon Walton's doing the same thing. He's going to try and have a go at Rob in the 46 car. Scott Parkin getting away. These three battling with each other. Okay, we're not seeing physical attempts at passes. Yes, we are now, because Rob Gaffney goes for the inside at Paddock Hill Bend, goes through, clatters the curbs in order to do it. Now runs wide. Branko's going to come back up the inside, but Rob comes across, defends there, and Branko back on the outside. Side by side, Kiprowski is going to keep his hand in here, keeps his foot in on the outside. Gaffney gives him room, and Branko's got third place back. Again, clean racing. We had a similar one in yesterday's racing. where they were giving each other room to go around the outside at Druids. Fair play, all these drivers, wonderful stuff. Meanwhile, contact here, Callum Eason runs into Amy Wallace, the Amazon Prime car. A little bit of contact from Callum as they came down into Graham Hill Bend. PJ Gardner has a gyration as well. Wave yellows there as Callum goes past. All of them continue, which is good news. So replay, here's Lewis Ryan. Lewis goes on the inside of PJ Gardner. Is he clear? Oh, PJ chops across, he wants the line into the corner, and the two of them clash. Lewis Ryan, incidentally, one of only 2 drivers in the race now that have got 100% finishing records in the championship this year of all of the races that have taken part so far. Spencer Fortag is one, Lewis Ryan the other. Gary Mitchell had before the start of this race as well. And Rob Gaffney and Branko Kiprowski getting stuck in again. Rob wants second place. Rob Gaffney, of course, championship-wise not in contention because this is only his second meeting, but wants to enjoy his race. Simon Walton had fastest lap at Cadwell Park, pole position and race win up at Croft. PJ Gardner and Callum Eason. Did I say Wayne earlier on? I apologise if I did, Callum, and to Wayne as well. But Callum having a good run in his maiden weekend in the championship. I hope we see him a lot more. Great to see the Easton family back on track, do an awful lot off track as well. We mentioned truck racing and everything else, and fair play to Wayne Easton from WDE, loaned Ali Rushforth's team a truck after their fire at Donington in the British GT Championship round, and that's what Wayne is like. Top man, well done Wayne, thank you for that. That's the motorsport fraternity for you. Here is Simon Rudd though, very well clear at the minute, and Branko still holding on from Rob Gaffney. Spencer Fortag trying to close down as they go side by side for third place again. Branko's got the inside though, and Rob Gaffney being made to work hard here. All of these cars still pretty much in close proximity. 87 car, as we say, the ex-Jack Lees car from yesterday, now driven by the man who was in 29 yesterday, James Harris, after his car was rolled in the first start. Fair play for him for getting back in the car, and also for the organisers for getting that car ready and getting him out. It really is testament to this championship, which has such a terrific atmosphere, a great format as well with the reverse grids for race 2. We're not going to see that today, sadly, because of the time delay that we had. But this one panning out well at the moment for Simon Rudd, who is leading by a good way from Scott Parkin, still in second. Branko Kiprowski in yellow, the car just coming into shot, is third. Then Rob Gaffney in fourth place. So Callum Eason coming under pressure from PJ Gardner. PJ in the 52 car. We welcomed him along for 2 rounds at the start of the season. You might remember him saying in the interview with Barry in our last programme that he's a DJ and has been back to work now that COVID is, can I say easing, is that the right word, but things are less strict, so he's been able to get back to work. We haven't seen as much of him as we would like as he works, of course, to go and pay for his racing exploits, but great to have him back on the grid. In car with Richard Avis, one of the consistently fast drivers in the championship, has had 10 podia in his career as we go back to the scrap for, well, third position now. Rob Gaffney back in front from Branko Kiprowski. Spencer Fortag is next. Now it's Richard Avis up ahead of Simon Walton, who's dropped back a couple of places. A squeal of tyres, and that is Simon Waugh, who has spun around in the 37 car. So Simon has a little bit of moment, the Jelson car. We hope that that's not going to be another safety car. Fingers crossed that things will be okay. No, it's going to be okay because we're on to the last lap. Richard Avis and Spencer Fortag busy fighting it out. That is for 5th place. Richard might be able to get a cut back here. I don't think, having said that, he's close enough, and Spencer grabs across onto the inside to defend, going up under the Burton Bridge into Druids. And Richard Avis being made to work the outside, which can work in Focus Cup racing. We've seen quite a few passes on the outside of Druids. It's not to be on this last tour. Okay, so in the mix as well there is Lewis Ryan, still running in 12th place, chasing Claire Avis. Still got Simon Waugh's car across the track. He's going to be non-classified, I think, Simon Waugh. Rob Gaffney with the fastest lap. But here is the winner. Simon Rudd gets a 5th win in the championship, matches both Scott Parkin and Andy Wilmot on 5 career wins in the championship. To maintain the championship lead, Scott Parkin will take 2nd. Rob Gaffney got 3rd position back and stays ahead of Branko Kibrowski. Spencer Fortag comes home 4th from Richard Avis, then Chris Wallace, Simon Watt, Simon Walton 9th, Toby Bryant in 10th place. Toby, incidentally, very modest. He's a double Caterham champion, didn't say that in his interviews. But that's the quality of drivers we're attracting to the championship. Simon Rudd's win from Scott Parkin, Rob Gaffney 3rd and fastest lap, Branko Kibrowski next from Spencer Fortag, and Richard Avis, Chris Wallace, Simon Watts 8th, then Simon Walton and Toby Bryant, Claire Avis 11th from Lewis Ryan, Callum Eason 13th from PJ Gardner and Amy Wallace.
Simon, fantastic way to end the weekend there now. I've got to say, that's probably, from a spectator point of view, looked like one of your easier races.
It might have, but it was greasy. So I saw that Gary was out on the first start, so for me it was a case of finishing the race and getting good points. And I don't know what happened with the guys behind, but at the first lap I had a big advantage, so I'm sitting there thinking, right, I could do with the rain easing off, which it did, and managed to sort of pace it there, and I'm hoping I got fastest lap as well. But it looked easy, but it was quite damp, so yeah, it made it a bit tricky.
You got the gap, you maintained the gap, that was the thing. Behind you, it was the battle was for 2nd and 3rd place. They were almost holding each other up, which helped in a way, but like you say, the weather conditions were decreasing or increasing, which made it even harder.
Yeah, I guess when you're battling, especially when it's damp, it's a bit more difficult because you've got to make the right move at the right time, and you've got to obviously be aware of who's around you. For me, it was almost like a test. I could take the lines I wanted. Look, it may have looked easy. We know that the guys behind, like Scott and Gary, and the guys are quick enough. I'm not that much quicker than them overall. I just, it's a line for me today.
Scott, 2nd place, an extremely well-deserved one. That was a tough one.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't make it easy for myself at the start. Got a pretty good start initially. Simon got a monster start, but then I think I was a little bit too cautious on probably the first 2 laps, which allowed the guys to catch up from my reasonable start, and then from there really I was too busy looking in the mirrors rather than looking ahead. I just kept seeing yellow torpedoes coming towards me in the braking zones, and I just knew that one wrong move from me in that area and that could have just knocked me straight off. So with Gary out, obviously it made more sense for me just to keep it clean, keep it on the track, and bag those points. So as long as I kept the guys behind me, that's all I needed to do. So whilst I saw Simon disappearing off into the sunset almost, it didn't mean anything to me. My fight now, I think, is for 2nd position. So basically I just need to keep it clean.
Callum, we met at the start of the weekend with the last round, and we finished with this one. A great success story. First time out of a race car, we end the weekend in front of a crowd of thousands with a rookie driver of the race as well, so you've got to be pleased.
Yeah, I'm over the moon, absolutely over the moon. I've obviously had the car problems, which I've said earlier on, but we're not going to get into that. It's just nice to come home, bring the car home with a bit of silverware, and I've been trying so hard for it.
Finish on a high, and it's only early in your racing career.
Yeah, it's a start of an era. I'll definitely be coming back, definitely love it. It's just a bit of me.
So, extending his championship lead is Simon Rudd, 78 points clear now of Gary Mitchell. Scott Parkin is in 3rd from Lewis Ryan and Spencer Fortag. Richard Avis completing the top 6 from John Baker, Branko Kibrowski, Charlie Barr and Simon Waugh. Great stuff on the podium celebrations. Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to your company once again on the Focus Cup from Donington. We'll see you soon.